Right. So I don't hear myself. Right. So start ah. Start na.
Go.
So good evening and welcome. It's this podcast's first ever live episode, and thanks for being a part of it. It's the peak of the NBA playoff season. Just earlier today, we saw the Miami Heat complete this year's finals cast. So we're taking some time to sit down and talk a bit about it. So for tonight, we're joined by two big NBA aficionados. First up, from all the way in Norway, we have Per Martin Grøgaard. This is Martin's audition to fill in the sports segment of Arrancada ni Leo Lastimosa. Or what's his name? What's his show called now? It's Baruganan ni Leo Lastimosa sa Sibya TV. so expect him to swing for the fences with this analysis today. And also joining us is sports writer Jonas Panerio from Sunstar Cebu and Spin.ph. By the way, Jonas also forms 1/3 of the highly entertaining The Panalay Show. So if Martin doesn't make the cut for Arrancada or Baruganan with Leo, I suppose he's always welcome there.
Kailangan ni maghimo. We need to make our own with our very special friends.
Yeah, we have a special friend who's watching right now. Shout out. I'd like to say hi to everybody watching.
But kidding aside, these two guys are avid basketball followers, and I'm sure they'll be raising a lot of valid and interesting thoughts about the finals, the coming finals. So welcome, gentlemen. So
thank you.
Let's get right to it.
Thanks for inviting us to your podcast.
Of course. So what do you guys think of this year's playoffs so far? Let's start with Jonas. There's so much to talk about, but let's go back to the first round or perhaps the effect of the bubble set up on the games. And when we progress on to the second round and the recently concluded conference finals. So Jonas, please.
First thing that comes to mind, it's been weird. It's not, you, Martin, and I, and all of NBA fans all over the world, we've been watching the playoffs for so long. So there's fans. There's a different kind of atmosphere. There's a different vibe to it. And then don't get me wrong. I'm grateful to still have something to watch, but it just feels different. I can't totally say if it's different in a good or a bad way. But it's been unique. And going back to the first round, it was pretty forgettable. Nothing really noteworthy, except, of course, for that incredible matchup between Utah and Denver. But for the most part, it was sweepsville for most of the winning teams. So pretty convincing victories during the first round. Well, like I mentioned earlier during our off the camera discussion, when it comes to this playoffs, I'm gonna say it has to have an asterisk for me. It has an asterisk for me just because of all the different factors, the elements that are present, and more conspicuously the ones that are missing.
Sorry, excuse me. Is that a good kind of asterisk, or is it like a bad kind of?
Let's just say it's down the middle. During the regular times, you have a lot of things play into part. The home court, the travel, fatigue, all that plays a role. It's not written about, it's not highlighted in the stories or everything that you read or see in the media, but it definitely plays a part. Like for example, if you sprain an ankle in game two, and then you have to travel all the way to Denver, uh, having having the time to have your injured ankle treated round the clock, it gets a lot more difficult. You have to get on a plane, you have to get in a hotel, and all that. But in this situation, for example, AD, we never knew the severity of that ankle sprain he had during the last game. But after that, all he had to do was go to his hotel and receive treatment for sure, 24 hours or more than that. But that's just one element that is missing in this playoffs. But there are so many that we I don't think we have enough time to discuss or dissect each and every single one.
If I could chime in on this one, when I said when the bubble started, there was this like eerie feeling watching the games. It wasn't summer league and wasn't regular season games. So that was the start. That's why I said to a couple of friends of mine, you know why a team like the Phoenix Suns did so well during the bubble? Because all of the distractions that an NBA player might have, friends from outside, going to the strip club, going to parties, that was gone. And all you have was the talented Phoenix Suns, because we all know they were talented but inexperienced, facing against all the other teams. And that's why you saw them do really well.
Wait, sorry, Martin. Maybe we should let Jonas finish first, and you can talk about that when you get to your turn, I guess.
Sure.
No, I'm good. I thought I'm done for the first round. It was, you can actually ask me what the results were. I could just tell you the winners. I don't even remember what the series scores were.
Nothing about the Thunder losing to. Well, at least
the Thunder.
Yeah, I think
my
the story.
favorite,
Yeah, the
my
story there
favorite point
was.
guard.
Yeah, the story there was CP3 willing the Thunder to Game 7 against the Rockets. Nothing there.
Yeah, nothing, absolutely nothing there. Because even if the Rockets, the Rockets did win, but they hardly put up anything resembling a challenge against the Lakers. I wish OKC won. I think it would have been. I'm not going to say OKC would have been a better challenger, but I'm pretty sure they would have put up a much better effort against the Lakers.
I can't say I disagree about the series being very forgettable. Honestly, I don't even remember the name of who was that guy who was shooting lights out, the rookie. I don't even remember the name right now. I only found out who he was starting this that series for the Thunder.
OKC, the Canadian.
What's his name?
What's his name?
See, I don't even remember. So it's been that forgettable.
The guy
the guy Harden.
The defensive stopper.
Yeah, the guy Harden blocked.
Oh, House?
No. See,
from Montreal, Canada.
Exactly my point. We don't even remember the guy's name. So I agree that it's been really that forgettable. But I just wanted to make sure we touch on all the stops. So if that's it for the first round for Jonas, perhaps Martin can start his first round analysis.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the Jonas saying that I say Jonas because it's in region, but Jonas saying that there's going to be an asterisk of whoever wins the NBA Finals. And as of today, I agree. But 20 years from now, 30 years from now, the circumstances won't matter.
Yeah.
Do you remember the circumstances of the champion teams from 1980s? Because everybody has a challenge. Every team that won championship had challenges, And like when people tell me, everybody knows I'm a Golden State fan, but when people tell me, Durant got injured. That's why. And Clay doesn't matter, man. Who matters is the winner, and the winner will always be remembered, not the circumstances. Now, for me, if like Jonas said, the most interesting first round matchup was the the Denver Nuggets against the Utah Jazz. The Nuggets down 3-1, came back and beat the Jazz in 7 games. But nothing really shocked me. Everybody handled the game. So Houston versus OKC. OKC put up fight. So if you remember, they were given a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs, and they gave Houston a fight. Although I knew, and most people knew, that eventually in a 7-game series, the best team, Houston, was gonna win. So that's it. I just want to mention, by the way, that I was pretty disappointed with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, we actually forgot about them.
Wait. I got the name. It's Lugin Dort.
Yeah, I saw in the comments too.
But anyway, Philadelphia was. I knew Philadelphia was gonna lose, but I didn't think they were gonna get swept. And the closest game was Game 1. So Philadelphia actually got worse as the games progressed as a team. The best game was Game 1, and after that,
no Simmons.
Yeah, no Simmons,
Yeah.
but still, they have one of. Do you consider Joel Embiid as a top 10 talent in the NBA?
If he goes to Golden State.
All right.
Yeah, I think he is a top 10 talent. It's just he doesn't know how to win. That's what.
The fit wasn't ideal either. I mean, on paper, adding Al Horford looked like it was going to cure a lot of their problems, but when it came to execution, it clearly did not fit at all. It came. You guys remember it came to a point where he had to get benched, right?
Yeah, he came off the bench.
It was that bad. Yeah, it was that bad.
But my theory there is 76ers picked up Horford so that Boston couldn't match him with Embiid anymore. Because if you remember the year before, Horford stopped Embiid in the post every single time, blocked him even 3-4 times, if I can remember correctly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So is that it for the first round from both guys?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right. So we proceed to the more interesting second round where we saw better matchups. So Jonas, please.
Second round. Okay, let's try to remember. In the East, we had Miami versus Milwaukee, and then we had Toronto against Boston, right?
Yep.
Yeah, those were really good games. Of course, except for the Milwaukee versus Miami series, can't really say that was unexpected. I can't really say that was surprising at all. The writing was on the wall as soon as the games in the bubble started. It just seemed like whatever momentum Milwaukee had going for them during the regular season before it got stopped, it was nowhere to be found. It just felt like their 3-point shooting abandoned them, which was supposed to be the greatest strength. And of course, Miami, very much like Toronto last season, built a wall specifically made for Giannis. And Giannis, the Greek freak, just couldn't figure it out. And he even, I remember one game he tried, no, aside from getting hurt, I even remember one game where he shot 5 3-pointers.
Yeah.
He was that desperate to get on the board that he basically fell into the trap that Miami laid for him. Toronto, Boston, that's a classic. That that's that's really one for the books. It was a great series to watch, especially who shot that game-winning three-pointer for
OG Anunoby.
Toronto. Yeah,
OG.
OG Anunobi.
Yeah.
That,
My my
that was a
fantasy
great.
guy.
So that was a series worth watching.
Yeah.
Of course, we all know in the end Boston won it, but it really could have gone either way. Few shots here and there could have gone either way. For the West, it was Houston Lakers. I don't think there's much to talk about there.
Yep.
It just felt like every time the Lakers went up, it was already just Houston just said, uh, "We're done." It's like we're ready to go to Cancun.
Would you would you agree that was the end of small ball?
Yes, without D'Antoni, that's it. D'Antoni is small ball.
Yeah.
Nobody else does that like he does. So without him there, and besides, I'm not, I don't, I don't, I'm not sure who said it, but I distinctly remember that whether it was Morey or Fertitta said they were going to try a different direction, and it's about time. I think Harden has brought the Rockets as far as he could. Harden and the current makeup of that team, that's it. I don't think you can go any further than that. Further than that.
And I guess we have to talk about how bad a fit Westbrook was. I mean, how bad he looked in that series.
Who? Sorry, who?
Westbrook. Russell
Oh,
Westbrook.
Westbrook.
so, Mark, we can go all day with the Westbrook, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, how do you
But,
think he figures in
but
Houston?
let me just say that. Let me just say this. It wasn't so much about Westbrook. It was, well, Westbrook, of course, had a huge part to play in that. It was more of, for me, it was more of management's decision to go all in and to not have any versatility at all. They went all in. Sorry for the profanity, but fuck a center. Well, we won't go. We'll go without one, right?
Yeah.
Trading Capella was really the nail in the coffin, if you ask me.
It worked pretty well during the regular season. It opened up lanes for both Westbrook and Harden, but in the playoffs, when you're facing off one team who already knows all your plays, everything you're gonna do. So, and you don't have a center. So basically, if like we saw, if LeBron got into the lane, if AD got a foot in the lane, it's over. Layup or a foul, that's it. No one's gonna block their shot. So how are you gonna counter that?
The Achilles heel of that small ball type of basketball is actually Anthony Davis. When you have a center that with guard skills, PJ Tucker doesn't stand a chance. Just post up, turn around, take the shot, and PJ Tucker's not even close enough to touch the no. That was it. If you meet a team with like the OKC the round before where they had their big New Zealanders, yeah, Adams, who couldn't shoot, that it worked. But when you have the Lakers, where you have AD, a top 5 talent, no chance.
And I don't know if you guys agree, but it wasn't so much the Lakers' defense. Houston could not expect to win if they shot that way. As in, their threes were not going in.
Well, they had to shoot impeccably to win. That was already won. They had to. They couldn't afford an awful shooting game. But unfortunately, they had an awful shooting series.
Not a single game where their threes were consistently going in. And that was it.
Nope. Nope. And again, we have to touch on this. Martin and I always talks about this, about Harden's failures, especially when it comes to the playoffs, and it's well documented. So, so it just appears like he runs out of gas. Or when we were watching that series, it just felt like Harden he was making the same array of moves, the same arsenal, but it just wasn't happening. Nothing was clicking. Um, sa Bisaya pa, so ako lang Bisaya ka Diyos. Nakalimot naman, morag nakalimot na ang Houston mo sagdos.
Wait, I'm having a little trouble with my video. But please continue. I'm here.
Go ahead, Mark. I mean, talking about.
So it's my turn.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My turn to talk about the second round. First, let's start with the Milwaukee Miami matchup. I've already said it. Milwaukee did not improve enough from last year to face the problem to overcome the problems that they had from last year's playoffs. Giannis is shooting more threes at 30% field goal percentage. 30%, meaning he makes 3 out of 10. When he needed to improve his free throw percentage first, which was 63%, meaning he makes a little over 1 every 2 times on the free throw line. And you know, when the playoffs, when the game slows down, playoffs, it's really hard to make shots, open threes, especially when you're just standing at the 3-point line waiting for Giannis to give you the pass when he is doubled. And that's what happened. Basically a replay of what happened last year. I mean, It doesn't. People say, Giannis injured. Giannis injured himself. No, man. Even if Giannis didn't injure himself, it wasn't gonna matter. It wasn't gonna matter. In a 7-game series, the best team will always win. Toronto, Boston. I picked Toronto to make the finals actually, but it was like an eye opener for Siakam.
Yeah.
I could not understand. In 7 games, he tried to put up Jaylen Brown every time and either threw an air ball or got blocked.
Mark, it wasn't even Jaylen Brown. It was Marcus Smart.
Yeah, Smart and Jaylen Brown. It was ridiculous. And I would even say that I would argue that Anunoby even played better than Siakam. Well, see, Anunoby was open most of the time.
Watching Siakam go up in the post against Jaylen Brown or Smart it was like watching someone banging his head on the wall every time.
Repeatedly, and then there was
still doing it.
Yeah, so that's Boston won that, but it was really a great series. It was great for everybody watching that series. And then we come to the Clippers and Jonas, you didn't talk about the Clippers.
No, it's okay.
But let me do Lakers versus Houston first. We knew we knew Houston didn't have a chance, right? We don't need to talk about that. There was memes all over the internet about AD posting up and what's his name, PJ Tucker on stilts trying to guard him. That was so funny because he had no chance actually. Houston dug themselves a hole when they traded away Clint Capella because Clint provided one aspect, made Harden drive easier, and that was the alley-oop. Because when Harden drives, you know the lob was going to be there. Without anybody, you know that the only thing he was going to do is a kick out, which made it easier to guard Harden, if you ask me. And then the disappointment And just let me touch a little bit on Westbrook. We have a friend, me and Jonas. We have a friend who's
We're not
really
gonna name him.
a very big Westbrook fan. But I think Westbrook is one of the players who actually did not benefit from the bubble. Why? Because he's the type of player who needs to get pumped up by the crowd, you know?
Yeah.
You see him trying to pump up himself because there's no crowd, there's no fans cheering him on.
He
So
needs that. He needs the animosity.
Yeah, he does. And he's there down 18 points trying to talk trash to the brother of Rondo. And I'm like, dude,
Trying to
like,
fight someone.
trying to fight somebody who's not even part of the game.
Fight anyone.
And come on. I told when Houston traded for Westbrook, I told Jonas, I can't believe that a 3-point shooting team is gonna trade for the worst 3-pointer from last season. He averaged 18% from last season. He was the worst NBA 3-point shooter. So that wasn't gonna work.
And it's quite surprising given the statistics thing that Daryl Morey has going for the Rockets, right? Their team is basically based on stats, and yet he went out and did that.
Yeah. And then the Clippers versus Denver series. You know, Denver's game plan was just let's keep it close and try to steal it at the end. And they did it for like 3 games. They stole 3 games against them. And what happened against the Clippers was when the game was when Denver rallied in the fourth, Clippers didn't know who was gonna shoot.
You have to make mention of how Paul George disappeared.
But Paul George always disappears.
Yeah, that's nothing new.
Since he got traded from Indiana, he's
not as bad as this time though.
No, he was hitting lizards in the backboard.
So Bisaya pa, nagpatay tagak na ng tiki at itsahan.
Yeah, and it was bad, but
and he even came up with that excuse that he was in a dark place, right?
No, that's legit.
That was
that's legit. That's something, especially when you're in a bubble. But that came earlier. That came during the first round. Yeah, but that's maybe that had a lot to do with it. We never know, but we only saw results.
But you have if you're rooting for a team who believes they can turn it on and off whenever they want, and then they face the reality that they couldn't. That's what happens. You get beaten by because I can really say that Clippers were really a really very talented team, but they had distractions, with the whole thing with what's his name, Lou Williams getting caught at Magic City, and then
Harrell's
Montrezl
grandma.
Harrell. Yeah, Harrell's grandmother died, and he decided he wanted to stay a little bit longer outside of the bubble. When he came back, he had no explosion. He had no explosion whatsoever. He was getting beat.
For someone who declared himself as the new age Rodman, he was averaging 3 rebounds.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of blame to go around. Talking about the Clippers, of course, we can't absolve Doc Rivers. He's the coach, and his inability to rein in his players or come up with something in crunch time. I mean, we all saw what happened. It was, okay, Kawhi, dribble, shoot. Paul George, dribble, shoot. Everyone was just standing around. We didn't see any screens whatsoever. There was no ball movement whatsoever.
But aren't we gonna give credit to Denver? I mean, Jamal Murray was playing out of his mind. So.
Oh, but of course, I mean, the Denver had to earn it as well. They were down double digits in games 6 and 7. They were down big. I mean, any team, if you were the Rockets, you would have already said we're all packed and ready to go. But they were Denver, and they
you remember Denver because in the bubble, when you're facing elimination, you have to pack your stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Denver was a team who packed their bags like 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
They were because you have to leave when you're facing
when
elimination. You
you're
have to
done.
leave the hotel.
Yeah, immediately.
And actually, what made it even more impressive was they came from a 7-game series the previous round. And I don't know if you saw that interview with Murray when I forgot who was interviewing him, and he was reminded that they had a game to play in like 2 days. And he was like, "We play in 2 days," and they just came from like a very grueling 7-game series.
But that's okay. I mean, I don't. Fatigue always plays a part, but it doesn't play as huge a role in this playoffs compared to past playoffs because
there's nothing to do in the bubble.
There we go with the effects of this bubble.
There's no travel. You don't get into your hotel at 3 a.m. in the morning and have to wake up at lunchtime or noontime for shoot around. They don't have any of that. Can you imagine the Toronto-Boston series? How much trouble Boston has to go through, having to go to Canada and back and all that?
Immigration.
That's tough. That's tough. So, so to not have that is a big advantage if you're a road team. And this is something I also discussed with a lot of my colleagues. When you're playing in the same gym every game, you get pretty familiar with the rims, with the surroundings, with everything. And I've done the research, and 3-point shooting is up. So that's something to worth looking into.
About the bubble, I was gonna make a joke about. I guess now people understand why the PBA always has 7-game series. They always go 7 games, but it's NA. Yeah, I see that look, Martin.
Don't even get me started with the PBA. I'm sorry. I just want to say I used to love the PBA. I was like crazy. Pido Arencio, Dr. J, my favorite PBA player, Wilmer Ong. Oh my God.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mart. I'm gonna be honest with you, Morris. Having the PBA back, I'm gonna watch it, man. We don't have anything else.
Yeah, same here. That's still our highest level of basketball in the Philippines. So, no.
No, just even more so now these days because we just don't have anything else to watch every week, and it's refreshing, I guess, to have it every day. I mean, just as a sports fan, I'm just looking forward to have something.
Hey, maybe the ratings.
Wait, we have to let Martin finish though. Is that it? Is that it for the second round?
I don't know. I wanted to talk about Miami for a bit, but I can do it in the next round.
You're gonna be talking about them in the conference finals.
Conference finals.
All right, so let's do conference finals.
Should I start with the conference finals?
Jonas?
Oh yeah, conference finals. Lakers, Denver. I'm gonna say it was pretty much the same as the Lakers versus Rockets, in the sense that Denver had their back up against the wall way before the series started. I mean, we were a Mason, but then again, we were a Mason Plumlee play away from having that series turn into something entirely different, right?
Agree.
Mason, you mean the Mamba Academy alumnus Mason Plumlee?
Mark, gusto na itong paborito po matana. Kasi ginabuhat ato niya.
What did he learn? Like I was like, I see people. I see other players say. I see other players who've been to the Mamba Academy and say, "Oh, I learned it from Kobe and Kobe Mamba mentality." And then you have Mason Plumlee who's been there twice. And I asked myself, what did he learn there? How to not guard. How to get.
Binuang bitaw nga gikuan ra dato sorry sa magbisaya ka diyo pero gidara to siya ni Jamal Murray yung siya magkuyog sila magaon sila ni kahuman niya.
Nang hits siya napugos siya kuyog.
Oy, tagaan siya uniform. Ano lang siya participate.
Well, are you not going to throw any blame Jeremy Grant's way? Because the rule is that you're supposed to switch, right? And Grant
No, you don't switch when there's no screen.
No, when there's no screen. Zero blame on Jeremy Grant. He didn't even see where AD was. His man was LeBron James. He was sticking to LeBron James.
As a rule, yeah.
No, he was keeping his body in between LeBron and the basket because they were just up by one. If LeBron made a cut, game over.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point. It was all Mason Plumlee. What the fuck was he doing? All he had to, like we've talked about this so many times, Martin and I and our special friend, all Mason Plumlee had to do was tail Anthony Davis. Tail him. Just tail him. Stay behind him. Can you imagine that? It was around 2 seconds, right? 2 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
Had
1.7
or something like that. But it was maybe you could have dribbled once or something like that. But the point is, had AD caught the ball and Mason was behind him, he had to catch the ball, squaring himself up, and it might have been a very difficult shot, not a very open one like the one he had. The one he had, that was a practice shot. That was a warm-up jumper.
Yep.
Even if you would say that Jokic got the challenge, we're talking about the NBA. And if makita na ang ring, okay na.
Hey, Jokic was too far off.
Oh, he came from the inbounder. But to finish my point, Denver versus LA, it was unanimous. LA was going to win, but it could have been a much different story if not for that Mason Plumlee play. Would have been, who knows? We could have been playing Game 7 or something. I'm still not saying Denver's going to win, but it could have been an entirely different, the narrative would have been different.
Actually, it turns out we actually skipped a bit with what we were supposed to talk about. But please continue with the.
Going to the East, Miami versus Boston. That was a dogfight. That was a really really great series. But in the end, like we always say, it was a make or miss league. But Boston just couldn't make their shots when they had to, especially in the fourth period. We all saw that earlier, right?
Martin and I were talking earlier. I have to say, I actually picked, just from watching the previous 2 rounds, I actually picked Boston to win because they're, that's as good a defense as you can see in the NBA. But that disappeared against Miami. Or I guess that's a testament to how good Eric Spoelstra is.
and again, Kemba went AWOL.
Yeah.
Kemba went AWOL.
Let me ask you this, Jonas. Would you agree that Kemba's just too small?
Oh yeah.
You see how
Definitely.
how Butler backed down against him, and he would pick up his third foul.
He was the weakest
Yep.
link defensively.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Martin earlier. That Kemba Walker is, I don't know how he figures.
Let's just say the tables were turned and Boston went on to face off against the Lakers. How do you think that's going to be like? Having Kemba on the floor clearly, LeBron would always seek him out on the pick and roll. Always, 100%. And that's going to be so difficult to game plan for if you're Boston.
You can't even say that he can compensate on offense because he didn't even like make that much during the series against Miami.
He's no Isaiah Thomas. You can say that.
No, nope.
Dynamic.
I was just surprised earlier. There was game 6, right? Game 6 earlier.
Yep.
They
were right there.
I just don't know. Yeah, they were leading by 6 in the fourth.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a Brad Stevens thing or if it was a players thing where they decided they were just going to shoot a 3-pointer every time down. I don't know. I have no information about that, but it just all fell apart.
It's the same thing that happened. I forget which game. And they asked Brad Stevens what happened. My team just stopped playing, and it's the same thing that happened fourth quarter this game.
They stopped moving the ball. They were just exclusively shooting 3-pointers, believing that they could just turn the game around with one shot. They were going for home runs when they should have been going for singles.
Yep. And they had enough time. It was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. They started chucking up 3-pointers 6 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that.
And
they're supposed to be the team with the dynamic offensive players in Brown.
Supposedly, right. They're very, very versatile.
So I'm actually feeling proud of myself for picking Jaylen Brown in our fantasy league. Because he showed up. This year.
Before Martin takes over, I just remember one tactical error that Brad Stevens made that was so crucial earlier. Taking Grant Williams out when he was playing so well, when he was actually providing Boston
against Adebayo
with the energy. Yeah, against Adebayo.
Yeah.
He wasn't stopping Adebayo, but it was really making him worse for everything else.
I agree, and I'm not saying that Grant Williams was Boston's success hinged on Grant Williams, but it's just too much of a coincidence that when they pulled Grant Williams out of the game, that's when Miami made their run. And it was Adebayo.
That's when Bam really got going.
Yeah. So that's all she wrote, really.
Your turn, Mark.
Yeah, let me start with the East since we're already talking about that matchup. For me, actually, before the start of the series, looking at NBA analysts and what they thought about the series, most of them picked Boston to win. I actually, to be honest, I thought it was a coin toss. Sorry, but it was really a match. Like it was playing chess with the coaches. Two brilliant coaches, actually, if you think about it. It's just that Miami provided so much complex offense, and even John Calipari, the coach of Kentucky, said, about his former player Bam Adebayo. He said the Miami Heat coaching staff made Bam Adebayo the first point center in the NBA. If you can see, the Miami Heat has no point guard. Dragic is not the point guard. It's who runs their offense. It's through every time through Bam Adebayo every time.
Did you see that play in the fourth? I think when he brought the ball up and he ended up making the basket. He was the one who facilitated. There was this one particular play when we saw.
They actually just give the ball to Bam in the backcourt and they just go to their places.
Yeah,
to their spot.
He is the facilitator. He is what makes them run. He rebounds. He defends. He's the second defender. He's the blocker. he does a lot, and most of the time it's Jimmy's leadership that gets the credit. But Bam does a lot for that team, and also another because of the pandemic and what happened to Kendrick Nunn, during the start of the bubble, where the veteran Goran Dragic, who was coming off the bench the entire season, had to start, and suddenly he was so refreshed, scoring. Dragic in the last 10 games, I think, in the last 10 games, he scored over 20 points in 7 of them. And he's looking so unstoppable. So, this is I know many people are picking Lakers, but it's an interesting finals. And then
do you know that Dragic is playing 34 minutes a game?
Exactly. And the games where he didn't score 20, it was because they were up by so much. He didn't need to play.
And did you see how bad or how he outplayed Kemba, like the entire series, like getting into his head? That was one other thing I think that played a big part, like the foul trouble on Kemba because of Dragic.
But if I'm not mistaken, this is Kemba's first dance, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Not first playoffs, but I think it's first deep
conference
run.
finals.
Yeah, first deep run. I think they made the playoffs one time before in
I'm
Charlotte.
not so sure. I don't think Charlotte ever made the playoffs with him around.
No, I think Miami.
I think they made it
was Miami. 2016, I think. With Jeremy Lin was there.
But it was forgettable.
Yeah.
I think
I think they got swept or something.
But something, because I'm thinking, what does Boston need to go to the next? Because do they need to reshuffle the lineups, or do they need a new coach, or just experience?
I don't know. I feel they have to. There, right? Do you agree that they have to get rid of Hayward?
Now,
if there are any takers,
who's gonna take with that contract? Who's gonna take him?
Yeah, and with the health issues.
Injury?
Yep.
With that history of ankle injuries.
And that's the whole Tatum Brown tandem work.
That's your core. You don't mess with that. The Tatum.
Then you surround them with other players, but because right now when you have Hayward there, it just doesn't work. It just there's not enough ball to go around.
If I were to get rid of someone, it would be Kemba. I think it has to be Kemba.
I would agree.
They need a legitimate point guard. I know that there's no such thing these days, because all point guards basically nearly all point guards in the NBA are two guards masked as point guards. So they really have to find a legit one, just to really facilitate that offense. And maybe even a big man. Having a big man will help.
Yeah, especially if you look at Miami's build right now. They're gonna be good for years to come.
Let me just interject this. I know that we came from an era of where the 3-pointer was all the rage, right? I mean, the age of the Warriors, Steph, and all that. I think we're now looking at a return of the big men, with AD playing out of his mind, Bam playing out of
Jokic.
Playing really well, Jokic, and now teams really have to see to it that they have a big man to contend with all these guys. I mean, look at the Lakers; they have 3.
Which goes back to your earlier point that small ball is dead. Not just in Houston, I think.
We'll see what Philadelphia does if they pick D'Antoni as coach.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see who they trade. I'm excited to see who they trade.
I would hazard a guess that if D'Antoni took over Philadelphia, he'd get rid of Simmons and he'd get rid of Embiid and keep Simmons.
Simmons can't shoot though.
it's hard for a leopard to change his spots. The guy is 70 years old.
Yeah, but if you think about it, D'Antoni has always had that point guard that can shoot. He doesn't have that with Simmons. What do you think about that?
But he
That's why
can
you
bring the
trade
ball
Simmons.
up and facilitate. That's why I trade Simmons and get a shooter. Get an elite one.
Because what happened with Philadelphia was they were a team that was once filled with shooters to now no more shooters. That's basically what happened. Now they got their best player, their center, shooting 3-pointers away from the basket. Anyway, let me talk about the
Yes,
Western
please.
Conference Finals. And I just we've already been talking for quite some time now. We haven't mentioned LeBron. I just want to say, 17 years, and he's still one of the, I have to be very careful when talking about LeBron because he has so many fans who are very sensitive. I'm just kidding. But LeBron, in his 17th year, playing the way he does is very impressive. We keep talking. It's like the San Antonio Spurs. We kept on talking about them, finally missing the playoffs. It never happened. It's like with LeBron. We keep on talking. Oh yeah, in 2 years. 2 years ago, we were talking about LeBron's skills going down 2 years from now, and now we're here, and he scored 38 points their last game, dominated the rebounds, assists, and then you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and if LeBron is able to make those shots that he made in Game 6, or Game 5, the fourth quarter of Game 5, if he is able to make them consistently in the finals, Miami is no shot. But also, I want to talk about the way Dwight Howard, Dwight Howard being reborn, not being the Joker, not being the guy who's like.
It all started here. He wanted a restart.
It's kung sa Bisaya pa, labad sa ulo. He comes in, he frustrated Jokic, got Jokic into foul trouble every
game. He did
game.
such a good job with Jokic.
Yeah, because that was it. We don't even need to talk about AD. Once Jokic was out of the game because of foul trouble, he only had a one-headed dragon in Murray.
He only had Millsap.
Yeah, and Millsap, who's very inconsistent with a jumper. He got his chances to make those shots, but he missed. And then Jeremy Grant, I was really, really impressed from Denver. Yeah. He went from a defensive player to a 3-and-D guy to now being like a complete player.
Yeah. He should be really someone impressive to watch next year.
He's in for a big
payday. Yeah, exactly.
He's earned himself a pretty hefty raise. He's due for extension.
Yeah, I hope, Golden State, I really like him in Golden State. Jeremy Grant's one of those players I would love to see in a Golden State jersey.
Dwight is a free agent.
Yeah.
Right? Dwight is a free agent, and he's good after what he's shown this season. I'm not going to say he's going to get the max, but he's certainly going to get a raise. I wouldn't mind. Here, we might argue about this. I wouldn't mind having Dwight on Golden State either.
But Morris, I want to talk to you about something. A couple of years ago, we were talking about the Denver Nuggets core, and we didn't talk about Jokic. We talked about Gary Harris and Jamal Murray as two players. Mm-hmm. And what has happened now 2 years after? Gary Harris is an afterthought.
Yep.
He scored like under 10 points a game, under 5 points.
9.2. 9.2 points per game.
Didn't he come off from some kind of injury or something?
That is exactly. That's the thing. He hasn't been able to shake off all those injury woes. Maybe it's in his head.
He has a number of injuries.
Yeah.
It's compiling.
And we didn't even see Will Barton.
Yeah. That's
the
one thing
third best player.
that's one thing that was missing for Denver this series. Will Barton.
Because if you watch the games of Denver, they had a tendency of going on droughts, and that was because usually coming off the bench was Barton, who's a 20-point player. You know, he had the ability of scoring 20 points while being a okay defender, and then they had to put in the rookie Michael Porter Jr., who was
Wildly
spectacular on
inconsistent.
offense. But
That guy's a wild card. You really don't know what bag you're going to get.
Now we know why he dropped off in the draft.
he dropped on the draft because of
back issues.
Yeah, but I don't think that was
The back
just that. Now we see it, I guess.
not playing defense was also a big part. Because remember the Clippers versus Denver matchup? Denver versus OKC matchup? Did they match? Yeah? Was it Denver OKC?
No, it was Houston OKC.
No. Yeah.
Denver Utah. Denver Clippers.
I know. I remember in the bubble, MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. was guarding Dort. And Dort was like Michael Jordan against him, driving every time, getting layups. And I was talking to Jonas, and I was like, Dort is just getting layups every single time. But he's young.
That's something I'm sure he will work on during the off season. I'm pretty sure that's something Coach Malone will have a lengthy talk to him about.
And he had that's the stupid thing that he did when he brought stuff to the media about wanting shots.
That's something
that's something else.
Coach Malone already spoke to him about. It's just it was just exuberance, too much exuberance on his part.
He forgot he was a rookie.
It came from a good place. It wasn't out of overconfidence or boldness or even disrespect. It was out of exuberance. Just something like so magbisay o karon sa malimta ng filter bitaw ikan dere padong sa baba matanggal ka dito filter.
So is that it for the conference finals?
Yes.
Yeah.
Should we proceed to your respective? Oh yeah, you still want to talk about the bubble MVP? And we actually didn't touch on the revelations or the breakouts.
I have something to say about that. I want to talk to you guys about that. This bubble thing is an aberration. I mean, of course, we don't know how long we're gonna be having this. The commissioner said, Adam Silver said that the earliest that they could start is January 2021, and they still don't even know what format they're going to use. They've spoken about regional bubbles and all that.
I think there's something that came out. Wasn't there something that came out where he wanted anything, some form where you had fans in seats? I don't think they like the bubble either.
I don't think. I'm not sure they're willing to put anyone else in at risk of this virus. That's very risky to do. Yeah. I'm not a doctor or anything, but as a fan, that I wouldn't want to go to an NBA game.
Exactly.
Right this moment. But talking about the bubble, I know that I've already said this earlier. It's different. You can't let's take Jamal Murray's explosion, his evolution into a star. Can he sustain it under normal circumstances? Can he do it while playing on the road with a raucous crowd? Can he still do that? I mean, he wasn't able to do that last season.
So you're not sold on Murray?
I'm not sold on anything.
Just because it's a bubble.
Yeah, just because it's a bubble. The traditional NBA action is not like this. You don't shoot at the same hoop every night. They're doing that here.
So you
So
uh,
no, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm just saying that it's an aberration. It's too it's it's not something that uh, we have to get used to. I mean, this will not be the norm moving forward, right? We
It
have to
can't,
believe that.
and they can't sustain
It can't.
it. It really
Yeah,
can't.
the resources involved as well.
And the
So
loss of
revenue.
the financial loss, the revenue, the financial losses of not having the crowd. I would think that I would think that having some because now the NBA, the bubble, they have been doing a spectacular job because there have been no confirmed cases in the bubble.
Hmm.
So it's a controlled environment, putting people
Hmm.
to watch where you don't know where they have been or who they have been in contact to. Just
I think
give
Having
you
them go in
headache.
and
no,
then back again.
the craziest thing that
Oh.
happened in the bubble was that thing with House.
I want to know how that guy is doing at home now, if ever
Hey,
he is at
if
home.
if if I'm the house, if I'm the wife of House, I wouldn't divorce him right now. I would wait until that new contract kicks in. Because right now, Daniel House is worth 3.5 million. If you divorce him right now, you get half of that. But Daniel House is gonna get a big contract because he played really well this season.
He's a
at
three
least
and
10
he's
million a
a
season.
guy.
At 10 million a season.
Yep.
I'd wait. I'd 8 to 10.
8 to 10.
Yeah.
Mm.
But still, because of how it is right now, somebody's gonna overpay for defenders who can shoot threes.
You think Houston's gonna keep him?
They're not gonna be able.
They'll try. Maybe
They're
they'll
not gonna
try,
be able
but
to.
somebody's gonna be able. Somebody's gonna be
Yes.
able to.
I mean, talking about fit, because D'Antoni's gone. Think they still need him?
No, just
They want him?
just talking about money, financial matters. I don't think they have enough. But just between Russell and Harden, they don't have enough.
I don't know. I think he's gone after that.
But there have been talks though of Harden following D'Antoni in Philadelphia.
I don't know.
So that means that
Okay.
Houston's
That's
gonna keep.
that's a bit of a stretch. What's Harden's price going to be like? It most certainly would have to involve Embiid.
Yeah. But I would love to see Harden in a more traditional, in a more traditionally built team rather than this mobile. I want to see
Wait.
how it does.
Maybe we should go back to like the bubble MVP or whatever you wanted
Yeah.
to say about that.
For me,
Bubble MVP.
yeah,
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
the bubble MVP was Damian Lillard, right? He scored like, how much did he average again? He averaged over 40 points.
I think
Okay.
something like that.
But if I had to choose my runner-up, it has to be Devin Booker. I think he played really well for Phoenix.
8-0.
He's MVP in my book, especially after he went out of the bubble.
He
He wasn't missing any
strawberry.
shots, man. He wasn't missing any shots.
But I heard the hole was already big enough.
Let's not go there, man.
Yeah, let's go back to hoops. So is that it? Is that all about Lillard or the bubble MVP? You want to talk about
I don't have anybody else who jumps into mind.
Yeah, it's I had Lillard. They were they were on the
Especially,
outside looking in.
especially
They
yeah.
beat Memphis, so you have to give him that.
Yeah, especially how he carried, his team having CJ McCollum injured with a display. Was it a displaced back? A fractured back?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't.
And
I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with you guys. I don't think anyone should have been MVP. MVP is such a. Those three letters mean a lot.
For
MVP.
how many games did they play? How many like seeding games did they play? Was it like
8
20?
games.
8
no,
games?
nine,
Yeah,
nine,
8. Yeah.
nine,
So you're
nine
MVP
for
for
I know,
9.
nine for Portland, nine for
So
Portland and Memphis.
so I think it's ridiculous to call anyone MVP for just 9 games. So sorry, but I'm not gonna name anyone MVP tonight.
Okay, we can respect that.
Revelations, breakouts.
Oh, like I
Some
said, Jamal Murray was impressive, but I would really love to see him do it under more normal circumstances.
So you're still really not sold on Jamal Murray.
No, not entirely. Let's just say I'm 70% there.
What do you think
But
about Hero? Sorry. What do you think about Hero?
Oh, Tyler Hero?
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta respect the guy's resolve. Earlier today, I was telling, I think it was a couple of my friends, he was getting stripped. Harap-harapan. He was getting stripped by Marcus Smart,
Yeah.
Jalen Brown.
Yeah.
Talagang atubangan bitaw in one-on-one situations, and those were leading to layups and dunks. But then, any other rookie, some other rookie might have folded mentally and just maybe shut down. But no, he responded really well in the fourth period. He scored like 5 straight points. He
Yeah.
scored a three
He scored
and
10.
then a
He scored
layup.
10 points in the fourth, right?
So my bad. So yeah, he scored 10 in the fourth. So that's very impressive to have that kind of fortitude, intestinal fortitude.
But
That resolve to push through those mistakes and still play well.
But
Tyler Hero is a young player who knows who he is. You know, his confidence doesn't waver when he faces a wall. So I think he's just going. I think his value is just going to skyrocket from here. I mean, it goes back again to the bubble. In normal circumstances, would you think that rookies would play a large role? Both Michael
Very.
Porter Jr. playing a big role for Denver and Tyler Hero basically eliminating Boston in the conference finals. A rookie who didn't almost play in the regular season because he had to share minutes with both Kendrick Nunn and Goran Dragic.
Yeah, that's exactly the point that I was trying to make. I mean, these guys, they're really, really good players. These young guys are really good players. I just personally feel that we have to see them under brighter light in more traditional on a more traditional platform to really see what they're made of.
do you agree with Martin that if you had Kendrick Nunn in the lineup now, that we wouldn't see the same Tyler Hero that we're seeing now? Do you agree?
Kendrick Nunn?
Yeah.
Okay, Kendrick. Yeah. I still think I was gonna put this on hold until the final talk, but I believe Kendrick Nunn can be a difference maker. Especially he's fresh, man. He hasn't played uh, any minutes at all.
He's super fresh.
Yeah, super fresh. So kung sa kuan pa, Bisaya pa, napay magic bunot si Spolstra, and Kendrick Nunn has proven himself to be a good player. during the regular season. Certainly capable enough.
Just how
All right.
mentally strong is
I guess
non.
let's not touch on. Is that it for Tyler Hero? I wanna. We already know you're not sold on Murray. So what do you think of what Jaylen Brown did?
Oh, Jalen's been Jalen. The guy has a resume. He's part of Team USA. Guy's legit. So nothing surprising there at all. Him and
No,
Jalen. Oh, Jason Tatum. They're the future of the South.
Tatum is already being labeled as one of the future NBA players. The NBA players for the years to come. And Jaylen Brown is so good that sometimes he makes me question if he's better than Tatum. Personally, I look at it and I'm like,
defensively, he's better. Defensively,
yeah, but he shows up more than Tatum. Tatum has games where he doesn't show up, or halves where he doesn't show up.
It's been Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
Brown's been the most consistent guy.
Yeah,
throughout the playoffs.
And Jaylen Brown, from his rookie year, where he couldn't shoot, to now being a deadly 3-point shooter, shows you his character as a person and how he's going to continue to evolve as a player.
I agree.
All right.
So I'm high on Jaylen Brown. I'm high on Tatum.
That's it. Those two. The Celtics begin and end with Tatum and Brown.
Agreed. So I guess we have to go to your finals picks.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
It's inevitable. It's there for everyone to see, man. In between the narrative involving Kobe, LeBron's road to redemption, AD's arrival in La La Land, it's all there. It's just for them to take. They still have to earn it, though. Miami certainly has proven itself to be tough enough, skilled enough, and they have the talent-wise to make the Lakers sweat a little bit for the title. So if I were to make a prediction, I would say maybe Lakers in 6, maybe even 7, if the referees decide to call it fairly.
How do you think? I'm just curious. How do you think Adebayo will figure against Anthony Davis?
Oh, I can't wait to see that matchup. I really can't wait to see.
That would be a better matchup than the Davis PJ Tucker.
No, Bam is a prodigy, man. He's a big, but he has good feet. He has the quickness to stay in front of AD. So it's gonna be a chess match. It's really gonna be good.
I forget which guy on the panel talked about it. I think it was Mark Jackson. He said once Adebayo learns how to develop a consistent outside shot, he's the complete player.
Mark Jackson calls Adebayo Adebayo.
That set that they run, where Adebayo fakes a handoff and goes strong to the rim. I want to see how Frank Vogel stops that.
No, I'm really more interested to see. I'm really more interested to see in Game 1 how the referees will call the game. Think about it. Bam Adebayo goes to the bench with 2 fouls in the first, goes back to the bench with his third foul in the second. Let's just say he plays 25 minutes. Ang labaw, Mark?
Because you could agree or not, the referees have been really a factor in this playoffs, which is sad because you're supposed to be a non-factor. You're supposed to let the players play. And if you ask me, if the officials let them play physical, then Miami has a chance. But if they're gonna call every single foul, of course Lakers have the two best players. They're gonna win. They're gonna like Dwight. If they allow Dwight Howard to physically to play physical under the basket, which will lead to foul trouble, which will lead to them having bonus for them being on the bonus early in the quarter. Miami has no chance. I'm sorry.
Take a look at the Take a look at the roster. Who do they have behind Bam? It's
By the way,
Mayor.
why have we never brought up Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy's busy selling coffee.
Big head coffee.
Yeah.
Big face.
Big face coffee.
Jimmy has been playing like Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that.
He came into a system that suited him very well. That like a tailor-made system for him, where he can be himself. He can shout at them without these snowflakes getting offended and going onto social media, like the way.
That had the same values as him.
Yeah, that's Miami. If I can, if I said that there's going to be a complex finals, it's because of the backstory behind this. You know, Pat Riley started his career with the Los Angeles Lakers, winning back-to-back championships with Magic Johnson, right? You guys remember? Mm-hmm. Then you have Spoelstra, who coached LeBron. LeBron, who played for Miami for 4 years from 2010 to 2014. And even if you say there's no bad blood there, I call BS on that. Because Pat Riley, I remember, and Pat Riley, he still held grudges on Michael Jordan like 30 years ago. You think he doesn't want to win against LeBron? Beat LeBron for the way he left Miami in 2014? I promise you, there's going to be bad blood there.
I think there was something written about that. I think it's personal for
like a letter was sent or something.
I think it's personal
and
for
then the
Pat
last
Riley.
one. Yeah, and then the last one, you guys might forget about it. Dion Waiters. You know how Dion Waiters got repeatedly benched by Miami?
Yeah.
He's now with the Lakers, and I bet he's riling up the
players. He couldn't make their physical requirements.
Yeah, he couldn't. He played once and then he went back. Then he had to be benched again. And they basically, if you remember, for a player like Dion Waiters who can play, they tried to give away Waiters' contract, but nobody would take it. No team would take his contract. They basically gave him away for free.
I am interested in asking you guys something. Why isn't JR or Dion playing?
I was going to ask the same exact thing.
Why aren't they playing?
Why sign him if you're not gonna play him? But I think one thing that that's going against J.R. Smith is the way Alex Caruso has been playing. Do you agree?
Yeah,
Caruso deserves to be on the floor.
Caruso is LeBron's hype man.
And it's sad because Caruso is he's become the token white guy, but he can play, man. He is one of the toughest defenders.
He's a starter on other teams.
Yeah. People like to make fun of him because he's bald and everything, and he doesn't want to go home with it. But he can play. He can play. He's actually one of my players. One of the players I could say as being a factor.
Oh, you didn't give us your pick yet.
Yeah, well, why J.R. Smith is not playing and Dion Waiters is KCP and Danny Green in the playoffs. They have been really consistent with the 3-point shot. Yeah. KCP has played really well. In the role that is asked.
He's the third leading scorer.
Yeah.
9.9 points. And they've been around LeBron more this season. I mean, Dion and JR, they were signed heading to the end of the regular season. So that might have played a part. The continuity ba?
See Kuzma. How does he figure in the finals?
Oh my God. I I don't know what's up with that fellow. I
Right?
really
He's
don't.
motivated. He has motivation though.
Yeah, his ex is the girlfriend. Elise is the
Hero.
girlfriend of
Panerio.
hero. So I don't know.
And
I really Kusuma is the wife is siya ang naligsan sa minutes ni LeBron, basically, right?
I don't know. I think he's been inconsistent, and that's why his minutes have gone to Caruso, KCP.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's by committee. It's not
Yeah.
just one guy.
He doesn't really produce when he's on the floor. I mean, yeah, we had the game winner against Denver in the bubble the season, but I think that's
That was Mason Plumlee too.
yeah, point.
Uy,
Point.
That was Plumlee.
Plumlee?
That was Plumlee. That was
Yeah, he was
Plumlee.
pointing.
Totally.
And it was the same too. He wasn't playing, and in the last play he was put in to be a defensive stopper, and he was just pointing under the basket.
He again went to LeBron. Nasuyok na po siyang LeBron. Iyan na pong gitudlo si si Bolbol to go to Kuzma.
So in short, cut Plumlee.
In short, don't play Plumlee in the last play of the game.
Yeah.
In the last second. Also, I have been really impressed with Rondo. You know, I look at him when he's playing, and the easy baskets he's able to provide for AD really helps them when LeBron goes out of the court.
Oh, that's the champion.
They don't lose anything. And he's been hitting his 3-pointers, which is his the negative.
We shall see. I mean, that's the thing that we have to. We shall see. Mo nang napay koan parin kaning apostrophe. Can he keep it up?
So my pick would be Lakers in 6 with AD winning MVP. Only reason I say that is because LeBron has I bet Miami is going to show LeBron a lot of defensive style and pick it.
The wall is going to be there.
And then they're going to do what Golden State did, where they showed LeBron a lot of defensive schemes. Like they have Crowder, Iggy, Jones, who else? Butler, and then one more to put on LeBron. But they have
Solomon Hill.
Yeah, Solomon Hill. And they only have Bam, who is tall enough and quick enough to.
But what about the other guys? Yeah. What about JaVale? What about Dwight? Right?
Yeah, but exactly. And then Miami has nobody else who can guard AD. Who's quick enough and tall enough.
And we spoke about this earlier. You can't play zone against the Lakers. Braun is too smart for that. He's too smart for that.
And the way Lakers are gonna, if they may play a man, Lakers are just gonna do a pick and roll until Duncan Robinson gets switched on LeBron.
Yeah, that's another forgotten guy, Duncan Robinson.
Or Tyler Hero.
That's something we also talked about.
That's the only thing.
Duncan Robinson has been very big for Miami.
Yeah, but Duncan Robinson.
You can't play him. You can't play him in the series effectively if he has to contend with LeBron on every single possession. He's not going to be able to defend him. Miami's going to have to rotate until they get the best shot possible. LeBron's going to make sure of that.
It's either going to be a layup fest for LeBron, or Duncan Robinson's going to be sitting on the bench for most of this series, because they have Duncan Robinson, and then they also have Dragic, and they also have Tyler Hero. You're just gonna switch
That's
it up,
good.
pick and roll, and until
Well,
somebody else. Yeah.
so, wag na
If
tayo
Miami
kadip.
can pull it off, it's gonna be in game 7.
Kanang itong naniguang na pagtinanaw ni LeBron enough to see him do this all the time, to try and single out the weakest defensive player. Where when it was the Warriors, it was Steph. Always. So so this is nothing new.
Right. So, summary: both of you picked the Lakers in 6.
Oh yeah, but it's not. I'm not saying too that Miami can't do it. They can if the
They can.
chips if the tables turn or the officiating kind of evens out, they have a shot.
Yeah, Martin was saying something about the officiating. Why don't you bring it up now?
No, I'm saying I'm not saying it's biased, but I'm saying that if they allow for physical play and not call all the small ticky-tack fouls, then Miami will have a chance. But if they're gonna call every bump, every slap, every flop as a foul, Miami's gonna run out of players. Miami.
Hey Mark,
Yes.
hey Mark, they don't call every slap. They might call it on some other team.
Perhaps, but I'm just saying, Miami has an 8-man rotation. Today's game they only played 8 people. One of them, Solomon Hill, only played 5 minutes. So if you think about it, they have a 7-man rotation, and you have an attacking LeBron and an attacking AD. They're gonna run out of players, man.
Oh yeah,
That's
sure.
how I see it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. So
that's how the. I hope I don't see anybody. I don't hear of somebody or a team sending a letter again to the NBA office asking for more fouls to be called on them. I hope that doesn't happen. But you never know, man. But I pick Lakers to win. But I think the games will be closer than what people assume they'll be.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people are crowning the Lakers now as winners, but
they have to earn it. They have to
earn it. And no, we don't know. Maybe Miami can pull off a 2004 Detroit Pistons. We'll see.
I'm saying that the 2020 Miami Heat has even more talent than that 2004 Pistons team.
They have better shooting.
But you have
But they
LeBron
were
and
just
AD.
solid defensively.
Yeah.
Oh, LeBron and AD, but again, it was Kobe, Shaq, Carl, and Gary.
Yeah, and Derek Fisher.
Yeah. So anything is possible.
Because I really believe you can't. The way Denver played Clippers, the way Denver played the Clippers, they were just they tried to be close enough to steal the games in the fourth quarter, and they did. How many times did the Denver jump to the lead in the fourth? They stole it, but against LeBron, you can't do that. You can't. LeBron won't allow that.
He's so good when they're up.
Yeah, if like I told my friend, like I told one of our friends, LeBron, if they're up by 10, man, you can't stop him. Those jumpers are gonna go in.
Yeah.
If you want to beat LeBron,
we saw that in Game 6.
You gotta
right?
be in his face. Yeah, you want LeBron, you gotta make him uncomfortable. The way Dallas did was it 2011 against Miami?
2011. Yep.
Yeah, make him uncomfortable, make him slap him in the face, play, physical. If that's allowed, they're gonna have a chance. But if you say that let's just try to be close, you'll have no chance because they have the two best players in AD and
the
LeBron.
two best finishers. Yeah,
they're pretty much automatic when they're being aggressive. It's a good day for you if they're passive and just taking jump shots. But if they're aggressive, driving down the lane, it's either a foul or an and one. That's it.
I'm actually interested to see if the Lakers go back to playing big with 2 7-footers in the
I think they
starting
will.
five.
I think they will because that's their biggest advantage.
But if Jay Crowder hits 3-pointers, I think they're gonna go smaller and play AD
Okay.
at the 5.
Okay.
I
AD
because they can't
doesn't
play.
like that.
No, but they can't play anybody unless AD starts guarding the players unless he starts guarding the 3-point line and have Javel or Dwight guard Bam.
But here's just my wild guess. I think Mayers Leonard is going to get minutes.
How?
I think how?
Guarding.
By going in.
He's better than Mason Plumlee. Definitely. He has a 3-point shot. He showed the Warriors that, remember?
Yeah. Remember the last game of the season for Portland last year?
Yeah, he had 30.
He had 30.
He had 20 at halftime.
Yeah. He can be a factor, but maybe Spo will go with Kelly Olynyk. We'll see.
Maybe.
But Olynyk is not fast enough though and not big enough to guard or to box out the big men of the Lakers.
He can pop shoulders out.
Yeah, he can, most definitely. And
all right. Let's have our final words, I guess. So I don't think we will run out of stuff to talk about. So
final words. Hapit na malaki ang basketball. We have what? 2 weeks, right? Yeah. 2 more weeks of this, and I don't know where we'll be after that.
Sa asa ganing bubble sa PB.
Clark, isn't it in Clark?
Clark bubble. From Orlando bubble to Clark bubble.
I'm definitely gonna be watching that, but it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah, it's still basketball though. So
I'm gonna be more efficient with work without the NBA.
Exactly, and I won't be using too much of my mobile data with watching the game. My final words.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how the NBA will be after the season. With the draft and the summer league. It won't be summer league anymore. So we might. I don't know if they're gonna take a break this after the finals, or will it go directly?
I think they should.
I think they might. They really have to calculate a lot of things, especially finances.
Yeah, because it's
all about the money, man. You gotta always remember, it's all about the money.
But players are still they're not getting paid. They're not getting paid if they don't play, right?
I think that's what happened. That's why they pushed for the restart. CP3.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to. I want to say hi to.
Yeah, greetings, shout outs.
Yeah, I wanna say hi to my friend Kim in Sweden. He's watching us right now, and I also like to say hi to my friend Kazon James in Norway. Jeg takker alle som har sett på denne podcast, og jeg håper at det har vært gøy for dere, som det har vært for meg. Tusen takk. Og jeg håper at dere ser på de andre podcastene som kommer etter hvert. Tusen takk.
Jonas?
What did you just say? No, I just want to say thank you for having me. It was definitely, looking at the clock, dali ara sa oras, hapit na ta maabot og 2 ka oras, nila bayra, and daghan pa kay tao pwede istoryahan.
Yeah, right.
Just wanted to thank you for inviting me. It was certainly a pleasure to be here tonight with Martin. And
actually, I'm hoping that we can. Sorry, I'm hoping we can. With your predictions, I'm hoping we can reconvene possibly in the middle of the series or after, and let's see who got it right. I mean, both of you had the same picks anyway, but let's see. Let's do a discussion or whatever. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Also, Morris,
Yeah.
thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
I'm actually your cousin Ralph is actually inviting me to another podcast, What Men Want. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but
And
actually,
also, if I can give an advice, anybody who is betting on the Lakers offering +2 games, I'd take that. I'd take Miami if somebody gives me +2 games. That's ridiculous. To say that Miami +2 games.
I didn't social media.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually saying that because I didn't bet this. I didn't bet on any games this playoffs because my team's not a part of it. So I was. But
it's nice. Hey, let me just say this. It's nice to be a fan. It's nice to just be a basketball fan. It's very nice.
No pressure. No.
Oh yeah.
I've been sleeping good actually without Golden State in the finals.
It's refreshing for me and Martin to just not be screaming at our screen.
Because
it's nice to just sit back and watch the game and not be worried about Jonas, whatever's happening on the floor. I mean,
and Jonas, especially in the playoffs, we're texting each other while playing the. What the fuck? Stupid.
But here's a perfect example when AD and when OG made those game-winning shots, I didn't even flinch. It was like, oh, good game. Okay. Click. Bye. That's it.
I was actually
same sentiments.
And the last one, I was actually, which we didn't talk about. I was actually doing something, and then I just heard the announcer say, "Luka catches the ball." I just did this. I knew he was gonna make it. He's been making it all, since Euro League. So I did this, and of course he made it. We didn't even talk about him,
There's just too much to talk about. So, let's see. Hopefully you get your picks right para mapadala na to ni kang Leo sa Baruganan. Ikaw
if Miami
ikaw na yung puli ni Homer.
Bisaya man.
Ikaw na yung puli.
It's been really fun.
Yeah. So, hopefully we can reconvene in the sometime soon. All right. But we have to wrap it up. It's getting a little late. So it's been fun. Thank you so much for making time tonight. So
thank you so much.
Right?
Shout out.
Yeah. So all right, guys. So that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us, and see you again the next episodes.
Bye.
Bye.